The Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame recognizes Ohio's distinguished men and women who have worn the uniform of our nation's armed forces and then continue to contribute to their communities, state, and nation through exceptional acts of volunteerism, advocacy, professional distinction, public service, and philanthropy. The Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame. Nominate a veteran today.
My name is Ted Barrows, RA 11460-805. I served in the United States Army during the Vietnam era. I was born in Bangor, Maine, lived as far south as Charlotte, North Carolina, graduated from high school in Connecticut. At the time I graduated, I was hopeful to get into the United States Military Academy, but I wasn't successful in that endeavor. So I determined to enlist in the Army because I knew that there were a certain number of appointments to the Military Academy from the ranks each year. By the time I was old enough to even go to OCS within the Army, 18 and a half, I'd already determined that the Army was not the career for me. I went to the 82nd Airborne Division. They pulled me out the first day I was there and said, we want you to go work in our finance office, because I'd scored high on a number of tests. So I was I got my MOS was changed from 11B to finance clerk, and I did that for a couple of years. Then they were it was after the Tet Offensive in 1968, they pulled out the whole 3rd Brigade of the 82nd Airborne Division, and they started levying people out of other units, including out of the finance crew. And so my choices in February or March of that year was I could stay there and train a whole bunch of new troops, and they were bringing in non-jump qualified people, or I could volunteer for the levy. But you had to have at least 6 months left on your term or they wouldn't take you. So I went down the hall to the recruiting sergeant and lied and said I was thinking of re-enlisting, and I knew that my re-enlistment bonus would be greater if I was over 3 years. He said, yep, we'll give you a 1-month extension, go over and see your first sergeant. I went over to see the first sergeant and said, I want to sign up for the next plane, and 2 days later, I was on my way to sunny Southeast Asia. During my 6 months in Vietnam, I spent some time applying to colleges back in the United States, and I was successful to get accepted. I wound up coming to Ohio because of the law school at The Ohio State University. I wanted to be in public service. I wanted to be a legal aid lawyer. I ended up as a public defender. During my time in the municipal court as a public defender, it became clear to me that I was as bright as any of the judges, and I worked harder than most of them, and there was really no reason why I couldn't do that job. One of my fellow judges started a veterans docket in the Franklin County Municipal Court probably a dozen years ago, maybe 10 years ago. At the time, specialized dockets were a new thing. He started three of them. When he was ready to move on and retire as a judge, he came around and said, you're the only veteran on the court. I'd like you to take over the Veterans Court. I was delighted with the opportunity. And so I've been doing that for the last 7 years. And the thing I'm proudest of is the ability to give back to fellow veterans who have gotten in trouble for one reason or another. It made me feel proud, but it also made me feel humble because the award went to me personally, but it should have been shared with all the people who got me here.
Selection and induction into the Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame is a great honor. Nominate a veteran today